So the Snugpack Ionosphere, I think it's called, won the Bivvy Camp vote over the British Army Gore-Tex Bivvy bag. So I'm out in the Snugpack Bivvy tonight. My first ever time camping in a bivvy. I've had a few people, not just you guys from Boys in the Wood, but a few people say you've got to try it. It's much more being at one with the environment and the outdoors. We'll see. So I'm out on Dartmoor. I've come to South Brent, which is where I did my first ever wild camp. It's a favourite spot of mine. Been here a few times now. But I know I can get water there. There's a nice little sort of partially wooded area. So I'm hoping that somewhere around there I can get my bivvy set up. I've got a small tarp as well, which is a Snugpack G2. So it's only 2.4 metres by 1.5, but just to give me a bit of shelter, somewhere to cook under, keep my gear under as well if it rains. It's not forecast to, but it's Dartmoor. Forecast is to get to around 1 degree tonight, and I think it will. It's sunny and clear at the moment. We're pretty cold, so yeah, I reckon the temp's going to drop down tonight quite a bit because there is no cloud cover. It is very clear, so the clouds not going to be keeping the land warm. So yeah, it's going to be a chilly night, but I look forward to it. I keep telling myself. So just down here there's a river that runs along that tree line. Oops, up across there to where those sheep are. There should be loads of spaces there. I've always found somewhere easy to pitch up. The ground can be a little bit dodgy. There's loads of tree roots going through the ground because of the trees that are along the edge of the river there, but it's a nice spot. It'll be noisy with the water flowing. I can hear it from here. Don't know if you can, but in a way that can be quite good to block out some other noises. So basically any places where there are any trees that I can tie off to is like this. So I don't think I'm going to be utilising a tree, that's for sure. Might have a look around the other side. I don't know if that's any better. I don't normally go that far out from here. No trees, so I brought trekking poles to hopefully help with the tarp. So I'm going to use that. See if I can find a spot and get set up. You can have a laugh watching me put a tarp up for the first time. God, this is horrific. Ooh. So oddly, the wet section is up the top, and down this lower section it's a lot drier. Obviously the werewolves have already been here. One dead pigeon later. I'm thinking this could be a spot just here. Maybe I could utilise that tree, the branch above it. Tie my tarp up above it, but no, underneath. We're back to squelch. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me over the noise of the river. I'll do this on a time lapse because I have no clue how long it's going to take me. So I'm going to try and set a tarp up using my trekking poles, and I've got some cord, whatever you want to call it. That's the tarp. So it's the Snugpack Stasher G2 pocket-sized shelter and emergency bivvy. So it's 2.4 metres by 1.5. So I'm thinking of extending it out this way and then just having a top over it, and I'll sleep that way. See how that works. I don't even know what guy out points are on this. I've not opened it. I've not even looked at it. So this is extremely unprofessional. Do as I say, not as I do. I think that's the phrase. So right, so look at this. There's one guy line attached, and I've got a pack with hopefully 3 others in there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So that's good. I don't know where the guy out points are on this, whether there's any in the middle of a narrow section. And there isn't. So, right, I've got an idea. See if it works. Okay, so it's about as best I can get it at the moment. My digs for the night. So I've essentially got paracord in one end, wrapped it around my trekking pole, used it as basically as a ridge line, over to my next trekking pole, and down there I've got a ton of it left over, but I'm using a prusik knot that I set up when I originally tried this out with a hammock. Keeps on sliding down here a bit. I can't really seem to fix it. If I lower this down, it just lowers the whole thing down, but it would be handy if there was some tie-out points on here, because I could attach the prusik knot to those, but there's nothing on it, which is annoying. For some reason there's poppers on here, so I'm assuming that's for just when you use it as an emergency shelter, and you can just close it up around you. But there's space underneath for me. It's supposed to be 2.4 meters. It doesn't feel like it when you're inside, and there isn't really any headroom to sit up in it, so it's going to be fun. Right, I'll get the rest of it set up. I've got a new mat to try out as well. Now, if you watched my last video, which is on the R values of mats and how you can double them up without buying an expensive winter mat, I'm trying out a mat tonight which has an R value of 5.2, but it's not an ASTM verified or tested mat, so this will be interesting. It's been sent to me, I didn't buy it, but I'm going to try it out, see whether or not that works. It is supposed to get cold tonight, but it's going to be difficult because I've got to have it underneath the actual bivvy. I tried it inside it in both of the bivvies, and I couldn't fit in there once the mat was inside it, so that wasn't going to work. I was hoping to use it that way, because that way I'm not going to slide off of it, it's not going to slide out from underneath me. But the Snugpack does have guy out points, so it will hold it over the mat hopefully, but I'll get it set up and I'll show you. So this is the Gear Doctors Apollo Air mat. Now, this came out a couple of years ago, or 18 months or so ago, and I saw a review on Lone Wolf 902 channel, and he absolutely raved about it. 5.2 R value, said it was very hot. He does a huge amount of sub-zero camping. Now, I messaged him and said, is it ASTM rated? And he said, no. But he still said it was very, very good. So I was speaking to Gear Doctors, and they said that they're bringing out a bigger one, because the one they had out was just simply too short for me. It was 180 centimeters. So this is called the Big Boys edition. So yeah, basically this is 210 centimeters by 67 by 10. So it's very long, very wide, quite thick, and has an R rating of 5.2. Now, I spoke to Gear Doctors and said, look, you're not ASTM rated. I've done a huge amount of research on Gear Doctors, because it says recommended and reviewed by all these big magazines, and I couldn't find any reviews on it at all, not where it was recommended, apart from Lone Wolf. And I said, look, where do you get this rating from then if it's not ASTM tested? And they sent me this reply. Now I'm going to read it out to you because I will not get this verbatim off the top of my head. So, just reading from my phone. This says, the R value is lab tested and the method they use is not ASTM, it's another method called laser flash. Basically the front side of the pad is heated by a short time light pulse. The resulting change on the other surface is measured by an infrared sensor. And then the R value can be decided by analysing the change of temperature versus the time curve. Not only the lab test after production, I have tested it myself in 14 degrees Fahrenheit and it performed well. This is also before launching the product. They sent it to testers in a testing program and it performed well in cold weather. And they've also had many reviews saying it's good with insulation. So, who knows? If it is that good, why don't you just get it ASTM verified? Then everyone knows where you stand. But it's forecast to get down to 1 degree tonight. I'm going to be in a bivvy that's going to be on top of this, so I don't know how much heat is going to come through. This weighs 775 grams, by the way, so it's not that heavy for a 5.2 R value mat, and it is a big size as well. So pack size is pretty small. I know when you put the camera down it looks quite big, but against my massive head it's actually not too bad. It's smaller than my Campfy P3 folded up and probably smaller than my Decathlon one as well. But I'm going to get this up, I'll pump it up and I'll show you it. This is the point where I'll probably find out that I've got to completely change my tarp setup because the mat's going to raise me up too high. And I won't have any space, but yeah, the mat's up. It does come with a pump sack, so that weight is including a pump sack. Lying here like this, I'm going to have to shuffle over, I think, to the outer edge, just to give myself a bit more headroom, and put my gear over this side. But yeah, it's comfy. It's not the widest of mats. Admittedly, I'm quite wide and I'm tall. But my arms hang off of it. That's not going to be a problem in a bivvy bag because I'm going to be inside it. So I'll get that set up on top of it now and just see what it's like. Right, well, it's certainly cozy in here. It is raised up quite a bit because of the mat, but I think I'll be fine. It's I've got my quilt inside here, so I've got the Flames Creed quilt, which should sort me out okay for tonight. So it should get down to 1 degree, but I think I'll be fine inside here. Whether I have this zipped up or not, I don't know. When I was in here before, just sort of in the lounge, I set this up and it felt a bit claustrophobic. There is this mesh section up here which I'm going to tie up out of the way just to keep it off my face, and I'll probably just leave the top open. A bit more of an external experience, I suppose. So yeah, I'm all set up. Now, you may have seen a previous video that I did on the Awoobin torch, the Awoobin X0. Well, they've sent me out a new torch, which it's a fantastic little piece of kit. It's called the Owl, the X2 Owl. This is 2,500 lumens. Very similar in design to the X0, with a little magnetic flap that comes over here, USB charge port there, IP68 rated, so it's fully waterproof, can go underwater for up to 2 hours. And it hasn't been launched yet, so this is on Kickstarter. They've given me a preview pack for it, so it's basically it's a review package, so you don't get everything that you normally get. This comes with a lanyard, but you actually get a neck lanyard that has the USB charger on it. So it's actually got a USB charger linked into the neck lanyard, so you can charge it using that, which is pretty good, obviously, if you're plugged into a power source, that is. But yeah, I'm going to try this out tonight, because obviously it's going to be pitch black and there's lots of space. But if you like torches, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because I'm getting 2 more sent out to me, all by Awoobin, and I'm going to do a comparison of these 4 torches, because I do like torches, and I think as wild campers we like small and powerful torches, and the X0 is a great torch, 1100 lumens. Now, this is great at 2,500 lumens, but I've got a couple of surprises coming, and I think one of them is going to be mind-blowing when it comes to power. So yeah, keep an eye on the channel, and if you like torches, hit the subscribe button. And hopefully you can hear me, because of the river that's behind me is quite loud. So this is the Awoobin X2 Owl. This goes up to 2,500 lumens. It's got a belt clip, so you can attach it to your belt. or jacket or hat or what have you. It's very small, it's very light. I haven't got the dimensions or the lumen power on it because the review pack that was sent out to me didn't come with that information, because it's really a pre-launch product. So I will find that out and I will put it on the screen now so you have that information. So basically it is locked with this button here, so you press it 4 times and it comes on. So I'm going to turn this off now. It's pretty pitch black. I'm going to turn the light off and I'll show you from the lowest mode to the highest. So this is it on its moonlight mode, so the lowest mode that you can get. I'm not too sure what the lumens are. They're normally about 1 lumen, so it's very low. That goes up to the next mode. That's a nice wide throw, decent light. Next mode, let's go up here, see how far this throw goes. It's picking up trees. You can't really see it on the camera, but they're probably about 50 yards away. And then if we double click it, it goes on to 2,500 lumens. So just show it across the trees there if it will focus. That's my breath. It's quite cold. I think that smoke is actually coming off the heat from the torch rather than my breath actually. So yeah, that is 50-60 feet away. As you can see, it's lighting it up fully. It's a really bright little torch. It's a bit misty at the moment, but you can see you can see it actually lighting up the edge of the hill up there. Can't really see it there, but you can see it picking it up now. So yeah, the throw is pretty good. It's a good 200 feet or so. So yeah, that's the Woburn X2 Owl torch. So I'll put the spec up on the screen so you can see what you get for your money. It's available on Kickstarter, and they're doing some good deals on it and discounts, so yeah, have a look. And as I said before, I'll bring out another video showing all of the torches together and the extremely special one. Well, hoping you can see me in here. I'm a bit it's a bit small in here. I've just spent about the last half an hour just laying in the bivvy, and I've had it zipped up to sort of here. I find that if I zip it all the way up the top, having a pillow inside it, which obviously I'm going to struggle to sleep without a pillow, it raises my head up, so my head is virtually touching the top of the bivvy. If I just lift my face up a little bit, my nose is touching it. So I don't think it's going to be very comfortable, but I had it just zipped open, so it just one part was flapped down out of the way, and it seems fine. It's very warm. My quilt is keeping me lovely and warm. I don't know if the 5.2 R value pad is keeping me warm. I can't feel any heat coming up from it. The pad, it actually feels cold underneath me. Whether that's because the bottom of the bivvy is on top of it, and therefore it's not getting the heat to it to deflect back up, I don't know. But I don't think I'm going to be cold tonight. I think I'll be fine. Got to get some food on now. It's 6 o'clock, and I've got my usual noodles. No, I haven't. Surprise! I've got some homemade beef stew. Ooh, look at me. Yeah, no noodles tonight. So I've brought my bigger pot out, gas stove. I'm going with that tonight with the BRS. So I'm going to get that on now and get some food down me. Does that look better than noodles? I'm not sure. Let's have a taste. That's good. Thanks, wifey. Made this yesterday in a slow cooker. So we had it for dinner last night. There was plenty left over for my evening meal. Stew is a great winter warmer, isn't it? It can't be better than sitting under this thing in a bivvy on Dartmoor. Home from home. I can't believe it's December and there's mozzies in here. What is that all about? I know I'm near the river, but surely it's too cold for mosquitoes. I don't know. I'm really upset. My Sea to Summit X mug has died on me. It's got a hole in it, so it's leaking coffee. I've got a cloth round it. I made my coffee and had it on my little table, and it's just, I could just see coffee pouring out across the table. I'm thinking, I haven't overflowed it, and it's just got a little tiny pinprick hole, but it's right down at the bottom. I don't know how that's happened. It's in the creases where it folds up and collapses. Another item for the Christmas present list. Right. There's definitely no bailing out and driving home now, because I've just done a flask of Jack Daniels. I've had my stew, which is very nice, and a little bag of M&M peanuts to finish it off. And the rest of my coffee, while it wasn't leaking on me. Anyway, it's not too late, but I'm going to hit the sack, literally hit the sack, because I'm in a sack, and hopefully get a decent night's sleep. If nothing else happens, then I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning. I slept alright last night. I went to sleep fairly early, so I had a decent amount of sleep. Woke a couple of times. Had some weird dreams again. As always. I cannot believe the amount of condensation. This fly is absolutely soaked. Admittedly, it's cold outside, so obviously my heat from me generating inside here is creating a temperature difference. But there's quite a lot of condensation in between me and the actual bivvy as well. So I did notice in the night I was getting a bit cold, and I could feel the wet in between. You know, my quilt and the actual bag, the bivvy bag. So I sort of put my hand down there, and you can feel where it feels quite damp. So obviously it's reducing the effectiveness of the loft on my sleeping bag, on my quilt rather. I don't think this sleep mat has any R value whatsoever. I could feel the cold coming up through it. Now, as I said before, I think whether that's to do with the fact that there's a bivvy bag on top of it and it's affecting it,
I don't see that I have an issue, but there is no warmth reflecting back up from this sleeping pad whatsoever. Absolutely nothing at all. So I don't, from my initial thoughts, I don't think it has any R value. As I said before in my previous video about ASTM verified R values, those that are tested, those that aren't can just say whatever they want. I probably will try it again in the cold, just on its own, as a normal bag, as a normal sleep mat without a bivvy on it. But yeah, I've got a foil mat underneath this as well, so you know I should be getting some protection from the ground, because I spent my first 2 winters using a 0 rated mat, R value mat, with a foil mat underneath it, and never had an issue. But I can feel the cold now. It hasn't got down to freezing. It was forecast to go to 1 degree. I haven't got a temperature gauge on me, but my phone is saying it's 2 to 3 degrees. So yeah, it's probably 3, maybe 4 degrees. It hasn't got freezing cold, so I shouldn't be getting freezing cold. Not with what I am using, a 5.2 R value pad and a decent quilt. But yeah, the condensation hasn't helped, and the pad hasn't helped, so it's been a bit chilly, but I've been fine. I've slept okay. I've had this open all night, so I have literally just slept with it there, and been looking out at the stars, so that's been fine. I found it too claustrophobic when it was done up. If I had my head on my pillow, it just hung too close to my face, so yeah, I didn't like that. But having it open was fine, and again, having it completely closed up would have been even worse, condensation. So, but I'm going to get up now and get a coffee on, but my X mug is leaking, so I'm going to have to drink it out of a massive, great big 1 litre pot. Oh well. Right, time for a coffee and a bit of porridge. It's just starting to get light now. It's just gone 7. I've taken the tarp off because it's just soaked, and I'm just getting wet inside it, so I've just taken that off just to hang it up over a tree so I can dry out a bit before I pack it away. I don't think I've looked so forward to a cup of coffee as I am now. Right, coffee in a 1 litre mug this morning. It's half full as well, so that should wake me up, but it's just a weak coffee. Yeah, my see to Sunday X mug has just got a tiny little pinprick hole in one of the creases. I'm assuming it's got caught in something. I don't know. I've had this about 2 years now. I have loved it, and I will get another one. It's my favourite cup, so yeah, it's done me well, but time for a new one. Breakfast, I've gone simple. Got my fuel porridge, chocolate flavour, which is nice. Can't beat a bit of chocolate in the morning, can you? It's brightening up now, sun's coming out. You can't see on the camera, I've got the light on, so but yeah, it's looking like a nice morning. There's a bit of frost across the top. Which I think the sort of coverage of the trees that I've got here has helped keep the temperature a little bit higher. Yeah, it got down cold enough last night, and this mat, I want to blame the bivvy for stopping the reflection of my body heat on the mat, but I don't know. It was the only thing that felt cold, to be honest with you, apart from when I started to get condensation inside the bivvy, and I could feel it through my quilt. It wasn't freezing cold, it was just I wasn't warm, that was all. So yeah, not ideal. But I had a fairly decent sleep, to be honest with you. Yeah, the mat's comfy. I was comfy inside there. It was quite nice having the fresh air on my face and looking out into the sky and the stars while I was nodding off. Overall thoughts on bivvy camping? I'm not convinced. The way I see it is, in the middle of the summer maybe, you know, it could be better. The problem with this country is you do not know what the weather's going to be like, no matter what the forecast and prediction is going to be. Particularly on Dartmoor, you have rain, snow, hail, wind and sunshine in the space of 6 or 7 hours. So it's very unpredictable. So realistically you need a tarp. If I did do it again, I would get one of those, like a DD Superlight tarp. I can't remember what size it is, but I've seen them where, you know, you can actually sort of effectively make it into a tent. But then I look at it and go, well, why not just bring a tent? It's not really tarp camping. Please comment below if you think I'm completely wrong and mad, and if you like camping with a bivvy. But this setup, particularly with this actual Snugpack, it's heavier than my Lanshan 1 Plus. It's heavier than my Knot Journey 2 two-person trekking pole tent. I need to bring my trekking poles anyway, and I'll probably use them for walking, but also for putting up the tarp. And therefore I would use them for my tents. Even my Knot Castle, which is massive, it's still the same sort of weight. So I don't really see a benefit in it from a weight perspective. Pack size, maybe it's slightly less. Not a huge amount, but it is, yeah, it's slightly less. The bag that the Snugpack comes in, the word snug is spot on for it, because you can just about cram it in, and the inside of the bag is almost like a siliconized rubber, so when you put it in it grips. It's really, really hard to go back in. Another really bad design is on the zip, you can't see it here because I'm sitting on it, there's a Snugpack label, and it is attached to the actual zip itself, right to the edge. So every time, and it's halfway up the zip, every time you zip it up or unzip it, the label jams in it. It's the most ridiculous place in the world. You could put a label anywhere you want in this thing. It could go up inside the head, anywhere, and they put it right along the middle of the zip. So every time you get in and out, it catches the zip. It can't be just me. I've tried it. I've had to pull the zip out or pull the label out of the zip. It just gets caught every single time. Really, really annoying. It was fun doing it, don't get me wrong. You know, it's a bit different. It's got me out. I'm on a camp. I've tried it. Do I like it? The jury's out. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to try it again in the summer. One of the good things about this one is there is a bit of room at the top here where I can fit some gear, so I can put my electrics and stuff like that inside. And my concern is that if I go without a tarp, whether it rains or not, you're still probably going to get condensation or mist in the morning, so, or some dew, and all your gear is going to be soaking wet. So do I then bring a bag, like, you know, a bin bag to shove my rucksack in and all my bits and pieces just to keep them dry? It's just the faff that's associated around it, if you know what I mean. So I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong, thinking about it wrong, I'm not sure, but comment below, tell me what you think of bivvy camping. But I'm going to polish off my breakfast and my bucket of coffee. Anyway, my final thoughts on my first bivvy camp. It was alright. Would I do it again?
I don't know, I might try the British Army one with a decent sized tarp, as I said before, but I don't really see the benefit in it. Tell me if I'm wrong, comment below. But yeah, I don't know, it's not as light as my tent, and the tents are darn sight easier to pack up, put away, to work inside and be inside. Anyway, as always, leave no trace, that's where I was. I'm going to leave this beautiful spot now, head back and go to work. Thanks for watching everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.